What does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review. And today, I'm very excited to check out Can of Squirms from Big Potato Games. This is for 4 to 10 players, ages 17 plus, yes, adults only, and it'll take about 20 minutes to play. And in Can of Squirms, you are going to partner up with someone else and have to answer uncomfortable questions about you and your partner. For instance, who's better in bed? You're both going to have a dry erase marker, and you're both going to secretly write down your answer. All the while, every other team at the table is going to try and decide whether or not you are going to agree or disagree by talking about, well, all sorts of things related to you, what they think about you, and your life. It's a highly uncomfortable adult party game, but is it good? Before we get started, though, I want to give them a big kudos for, without a doubt, the most interesting packaging I've ever had to receive from my UPS man, which was, of course, this massive sextoys.com box they sent me, which actually just had this small game in it. Kudos to you, Big Potato. This gave me a legitimate hearty laugh. But did the game. Let's open it up, and I'll tell you what I think. Alright then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Can of Squirms. So first and foremost, we get a handy-dandy rule sheet. It is one page, double-sided, very clear, very concise, should have you up and running in no time at all. And in fact, this illustration right here teaches you pretty much how to play the game for the most part. So big thumbs up on the rule book. They also have a YouTube video on how to play, which is nice as well. So in Can of Squirms, you are going to team up with someone else, your partner. And your partner and you are going to take turns answering these uncomfortable squirm questions right here. Who is more likely to try and catfish someone? Who would best represent humanity in an intergalactic planetary convention? Who has the more appealing body odor? Who has the better haircut? Who's had sex last? Who's stomped as more ants as a child? Lots of questions like that, many of them which are kind of squirm-inducing, hence the name of the game. So, you are going to get a dry erase board, and both you and your partner are going to write down secretly, so neither of you knows which answer you're going to write down, who you think is more likely to fit the question. While you are doing that, all the other teams are going to be deciding whether or not that you, as a team, are going to agree on your answer or you're going to disagree on your answer. And they're going to be talking quite loudly, perhaps bringing up uncomfortable situations you've been in the past or things about you, but that's kind of the whole purpose of the game. So let's show you exactly how it works. So let's just say that this is me, this is my wife, just for this instance, and we're going to have this question: who is easier to get into bed? Now this would be a very easy one for me and my wife because, well, I was a very bad person in my early 20s. So this would be a pretty easy one for me and my wife. My wife would write down Forest, I would write down Forest. And pretty much anyone who knows me or my wife well would go with agree. But let's just pretend that there's a new couple playing this with us and they don't know us, so maybe they thought we would disagree. So who is easier to get into bed? And at this point, these two couples would be talking pretty loudly about, you know, why they think I would be easier to get into bed or why my wife would be easier to get into bed, so on and so forth. And then eventually we would reveal. And we both had the same answer, which means good for us. F and M would score 2 points. We'd score 2 points because if you get the correct answer, or excuse me, if you get the same answer, then you both get 2 points. Now, the other people would then reveal their answers, and if you guessed correctly that we agreed, you would get 1 point. So let's just say Sally and John over here get 1 point for saying that we would agree, and then Mark and Melinda would get 0 points because they put we would then disagree. And then you're going to erase these answers and you're going to pass the boards and then you're going to rinse, wash, and repeat. You're going to go until you get to someone getting to 10 points, at which point they will be the winners of Can of Squirms, and that in a nutshell is how the game is played. Alright then, Can of Squirms from Big Potato Games. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, game's not going to be for everybody for a variety of different reasons. Obviously, this is an adults-only party game. This is an adults-only party game that is going to make some people feel incredibly uncomfortable. Yes, like super duper uncomfortable. We're not talking Cards Against Humanity uncomfortable, where you're talking about maybe pedophilia or drugs or murder or something like that, religion. No. This is you talking about your actual life and other people talking about your sex life and your past and the things you've done and the people you've done. And if that makes you uncomfortable just thinking about it, if that makes you squirm just thinking about it, this is not going to be for you. This is going to be a very niche game in that sense. Another con that I had with this game, this is kind of a surprising con, is that while there are a lot of uncomfortable questions in here, I feel like they still didn't take off the gloves. You know, if you're making a 17+ game, I want highly inappropriate stuff. I want the kind of stuff that could potentially ruin marriages in here, so I wish they would have just went a little bit further. Now, that being said, I think most people are going to be perfectly content with the cards, and you get a lot of cards in this game, but I still wish there were more, and I still wish there were more inappropriate and uncomfortable questions, because that's just kind of the kind of person I am. But that being said, take that as a minor nitpick. Another con that some people are going to have with this game is that the packaging is definitely unorthodox. It doesn't exactly fit on a shelf the way you might want it to fit on a shelf, like a typical box. But that being said, I actually kind of like the packaging. I think it's unique, I think it's eye-catching, and I think it's going to be a target, so I'm pretty sure that's why they made the packaging this way. Component-wise, the components are perfectly serviceable and fine. The rulebook's nice and everything, but these cards are very difficult to shuffle and mix up. I don't know what it is about them. They're just this weird material, like they don't slide together very nicely. If you've had this problem with a game before, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, still, I wish that the cards were actual cards instead of like these weird looking little business cards there. Last con I have with this game, and this is another nitpick, is you have to fit everything back in the can perfectly in this weird little insert they gave you if you want it to fit in that insert. If not, you can just take the insert out and just put it all in there, which I'll probably end up doing. But I know some people like to have good box inserts, and this one is serviceable, but I wouldn't say it's that good. That's what I got on the con side. Moving on to the pros side, I had a lot of fun with this game. This game is very, very enjoyable for what it is, and if you have the type of game group or the type of couple group that is comfortable enough to talk about your sex lives, your past discrepancies with drugs or violence or whatever, sex, then this is the kind of game that you are going to have a lot of fun with. And I see this definitely as a mass market style game. This is the kind of game that's going to be at the Target, and people are going to be like, oh, this looks really uncomfortable. I bet we could play this with the two couples that we're super duper close with. And if you have couples like that, or you have friends like that, and you don't mind talking about all these uncomfortable situations that you have, you are going to love this game, because there's a lot of fun to be had with this game. My favorite aspect of this game is the fact that you cannot say a word when you are doing the verdicts. Oh my god, that is the worst. You want to defend yourself so much when you're writing down the verdicts. You'd be like, no, I'm a great love maker. I double down on the oral all the time. I'm so good. But you can't say a freaking word. And it's even more uncomfortable if you're playing with like someone that you have slept with, or someone that you've known for a very, very long time who knows a lot about you. And I just love that meta game within the game. Is it going to be for everybody? No, absolutely not. This is an incredibly niche game. But if you're still here and you're like, this actually kind of looks like a lot of fun, I wholeheartedly recommend this one. It can ruin friendships if you don't have close enough friends, but if you do, I think you're going to have a blast with this game. Component-wise are nice, the rules are nice, the questions, like I said, some of the questions are a little bit lame, and some of them I wish were more in your face, but still, Can of Squirms from Big Potato Games is a lot of fun if you have the right people to play with, and that is a huge if. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below in the comments below. Let me know. Let's just do this right here. You or me, as in me and you, sitting there on the keyboard or on the phone. Who is more of a badass, me or you? For me personally, man, this is really hard because I'm going against like hundreds of you and you're going against one person. I'm probably going to go with you. And the reason I would say you is because I'm a preschool teacher. You know, I'm a little bit of a, you know, I come off as a little bit of a hippie, you know, that sort of thing. So you're probably more of a badass. But who knows? I think deep down I secretly am a big badass. But who's more of a badass, you or me? And as always, thanks for your time, you too.